This is episode number 196 of the Middle Country Public Library podcast. Hello and welcome. I'm Sal DiVincenzo, joined as usual by my fabulous colleagues, Sarah Fade and Nicole Rambo.
Hello.
We have a special episode for you. It's actually a three-parter. Isn't that amazing?
Part one.
This is part one. Much to the dismay of one Nicole Rambo. We're going to talk Star Wars. This is our special series on Star Wars, and one of the reasons why I thought we should talk about it is because I feel like Star Wars tends to, especially Sarah and I, kind of talk about it a lot in shows, just kind of like as tangents. They're like, they end up being tangents, and I thought, hey, it would be good to actually we should address it. We should So we asked Nicole, who hasn't seen the majority of the movies, she's seen some, but the majority of movies, to actually watch the movies, and and you watched the first three.
Right. Well, not first 2.5.
2.5, okay.
Yeah.
So, well, you watched, and we asked you to watch them in order, not in chapter order, not in chronological order.
Right.
Okay. So you saw the prequels.
Yes.
And we're going to discuss this now because Sarah has brought up some very interesting points about the evolution of Anakin Skywalker, the fact that you have a very interesting theory that the only reason why Padme was into Anakin so ridiculously easy, was that perhaps he was using a Jedi mind trick on her of some sort.
Absolutely.
Or a Sith mind trick, I guess, if you want to say it.
Right.
For those two people who have never seen the Star Wars movies, the first three movies are The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. Okay. Which, interestingly enough, A Return of the Jedi was originally going to be called Revenge of the Jedi. And I'm glad they called it Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So, before we start talking about it, let's just ask Nicole what she thought of what she's seen so far. Nicole.
Okay. So the very first one, I watched 46 minutes, I'll be honest. It wasn't for me personally. Sarah and my husband filled me in on the gaps.
All right.
So I was ready to go in the second movie. The second movie was okay. It was. It did have. We all know that romance is more of my genre.
Sure.
So it did have the couple. Well, we say Sarah wouldn't call it romance necessarily.
Yeah.
But it had a couple. And then I will say the last one I thought was better.
Okay.
Yes, I will. I will say that I feel like he got his footing or whatever. Like he maybe had some. People helping him out a little bit more at the.
You mean Hayden Christensen? You mean you're talking about? Yes.
Christian Haydenson.
Christian, I hate him. I hate him.
And so I thought the last one was good. Obviously, Ewan McGregor was really good in it.
Sure.
Samuel L. Jackson was good.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of what I don't like about it isn't even necessarily the sci-fi Star Wars of it. I don't think that they were like good. So it was a little bit hard.
You're not alone on that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people don't think they were good.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that takes away a little bit from it. And because I didn't have and all the people who saw those would have seen, well, not all people, but likely the first three, right? Like the original ones. So going in, they maybe had a little more forgiveness because they knew. No, okay.
I can tell you, I saw them. I'm sure you did too.
In the theater.
And there was huge hype when it first came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you had to buy tickets in advance or wait online.
Oh,
it was insane. Yeah. And people were sitting on the floor. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Fire hazards.
Yeah.
And people were mad because they stunk so bad. Like Jar Jar Binks, there was extreme protests about Jar Jar Binks and how he just kind of dumbed it down for kids.
Yeah.
And
that's the first movie when I started. Like I said, I watched first 46 minutes, and I was like, "Steve, this is a kids movie."
Yes.
It had I was like, I thought this was more for adults, and he's.
I think the more you're into Star Wars, the more you probably hated the first.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I guess definitely. So I didn't, but they were, I thought the CGI was good. It was.
That's interesting. You think you saw the CGI? I like
it's okay. I mean,
no. It's there. It was very CGI heavy. I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people also had some issues with that because they thought that Lucas was focusing too much on the scenery and not enough on the actual acting. Script.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe that would be a saving grace. But look how good it looks.
Yeah,
Just
right?
don't listen to what they're saying, or how they're saying it or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The writing. I think sometimes that people don't give writers the credit, even like in the Oscars, even with awards, it's like the best director, best film, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like best writer, blah, blah, blah. Like, writing is super important. The dialogue is important. And, I think that maybe wasn't a priority.
No, I don't think so either.
In this. So that's kind of what I was like,
Generationally, interestingly enough, I think Sara and I are in that group who say these prequels weren't very good. They shouldn't have been made, or they should have been made differently.
Yeah.
I think I've heard, interestingly enough, and I've seen, anecdotally, of course, the younger generations, the generations who did not grow up with the original three, actually like the first three more than they do. I know Sarah's, I wish this was a video podcast because the face you just made, Sarah, because I think they do appreciate the CGI and they expect in a sci-fi movie to see good CGI.
right.
Where, I mean, for its time, the Star Wars, the original trilogy were like, Industrial Light and Magic was basically, I think, created by Lucas to make this movie.
Right.
But it's interesting that you'll see the different generations. Some are okay with the prequels, some are not. I personally did not like them too much when they first came out. I think they grew on me a little bit. They made me feel nostalgic at the time, but I think now that I look back on them, they're certainly better than what we got just recently. I'll say that. At least if I had to compare 2 out of the 3 new movies, they're a little better, a little bit.
It's funny because I rewatched them, and the second and third ones I like a lot more than I did. However, the first one, I cannot stand it. Like, it has bothered me more now that I'm older because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's I will say it, I find it to be incredibly racist.
Oh my God, it was...
it's terrible. It's terrible. And it was like, maybe because I did, I don't know. But I did not like it before. But now that time has, I cannot stand the first one. I can't, I don't, he's a kid, whatever. Can't stand little Anakin. Get out of here. You know what I mean? And then the Jar Jar, it was just horrible. The only thing that I like to watch about that movie is, Obi-Wan and Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is it. And it's other than that, it's garbage. Racist garbage.
It wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. And I don't think I didn't necessarily need to know where Darth Vader came from. Or at least as a kid.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they could have really summed up, he had a lot of chlormidians or whatever it's called. Yeah. They could have done literally a 5-minute thing.
Right.
Okay. And that is it. They don't need an hour doing a pod race. And then, when he does this and he does that.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, nothing personal to Jake Lloyd. I'm sure he's a nice guy, nice kid. But I wouldn't have picked him. I think he was a poor actor.
The little kid?
Yeah, the little kid.
No, he was terrible.
Well, his grown-up version was not much better.
Yeah.
They both were not very
I think if these movies came out today, there probably would have been a better choice of actors to have chosen to make, to do this.
Well, isn't Steve was telling me that Leo was Leonardo DiCaprio. Leo, I know him. Leonardo DiCaprio was in talks to do it, and I'm like, yeah, he probably wrote the script, and I was like, no thanks.
Yeah.
For what? Yeah. He was Hayden Christensen's part?
Yeah, he's probably like, no.
I mean, you know what? Even if the script is partially bad, they were terrible.
Oh yeah,
they were terrible.
Yes. It was a perfect storm of bad writing, bad acting.
And I'm sorry, but what's her face? what's her face?
Natalie Portman.
She's a terrible actress. She is a female equivalent to Keanu Reeves, and I love Keanu Reeves. He is like my Hollywood husband. Like I would kill for him. I would jump in front of a bus for him, maybe. But yeah, and she is a horrible actress.
I was saying to Sarah, like Rose Byrne pops up out of nowhere. It was like the only good acting in the whole thing, and Ewan McGregor tries his best. He's good. But.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a bad script, but Ewan McGregor isn't bad.
Right, yeah.
So it's not the script. Like, I'm not blaming the script, but I don't know if, like, George Lucas was like, boy, I wish I could marry someone who looks like Natalie Portman, and that's why he cast her. Or I wish I grew up looking like Hayden Christensen, and that's why he cast him. I don't know why he chose those people, because they are god-awful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Natalie.
No, it's true. It's true, and I think they might agree with you. Really. Yeah. We do know, though, that Hayden Christensen is coming back in some way, shape, or form for the new series.
Is he just going to provide his voice?
I don't know.
Because it's what, after... It's between, right?
It's between. Yes.
So he's already burnt in the mask, right?
Yes. I believe so.
It's got to be the voice. Or maybe he's just in the...
He could just be in the suit. It could be, flashbacks. It could be maybe he appears to him in some sort of force stream. I don't know.
Wait, there's going to be more movies?
No, it's a series. So now we'll know if it's really his acting or the writing, because I'm sure the series will be good.
Well, that's the other thing that I like because I've seen the newer movies, which even though you don't like them, I think they're a little bit better.
They are a little better.
Right?
I like them.
But I watched The Mandalorian. That's excellent, right? Like I've seen good things out of this world. And so to go back to this, I was like, where the heck? This is not what I was, So.
No, it's awful.
Yeah. So, yeah, and maybe he took some acting classes and maybe he's ready to go.
That's possible.
He's pretty bad.
That's possible.
Some other stuff. He's not good.
So from the first to the second movie, there's a huge jump in time.
10 years.
10 years.
Right.
Now, in the first movie, we have to assume that
Little
Anakin is probably 9 or 10 years old, right?
Younger-ish.
Maybe younger, you think? No, I think he's 9 or 10.
He's 10.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he's tiny.
He's tiny, but I'm still not thinking that...
I think he's like 7, 8. Yep.
7, 8. Yeah. So now he's 17, 18 in the second chapter. Yeah. Do we know how old Padme was?
She's
probably 18,
She
right?
was at least... Well, she was the youngest senator that we found out. So
maybe 16, 17?
Yeah, let's go with 16, 17.
So there's a 10-year difference.
Yes.
I think it's a 10-year difference. So now she's 26, 27.
Right. He's grown 17, woman.
16,
grown
17.
Woman.
And now this is where the inappropriate romance comes in.
Well, I don't think that... Well, the age is a little inappropriate because he's so young. Like, I don't think a 10-year gap is inappropriate,
Right.
but the fact that he's, like, not even 20...
Yeah.
It's questionable, but the fact that he is a brat... He is a brat.
Yes.
No way a seasoned politician who's so worldly... Literally, intergalactically worldly...
Yeah.
Who has seen things and lived things, are going to be like, you know what? I really like this bratty kid who I remember as a child. Yes. No.
Okay.
There's no way. Because, you pointed out, she likes him. Yeah, there's between like liking someone and being like, you know what?
Yeah.
No, you can like someone and be like, oh, yeah, he makes me laugh. But she's not going to be like, oh, yeah. No.
But she wasn't like that. That's how I saw it. He's a creep. And he is a brat. And again, I don't know if that's the writing or the acting or how he meant to be seen. Yeah. Or like, there are some things I'm like, what is this? What is he saying? Truly, he knows his Obi-Wan.
It's so weird because she even says, "Don't look at me like that. It makes me uncomfortable." Now, when you have to say that,
okay, yes, he is
as a woman.
Eyes and
okay, wait, no, Nicole. If a guy came up to you after like you haven't seen him in 10 years and he looks at you and you feel it on the inside enough to say, "Please don't look at me like that. I'm uncomfortable."
Yes. But here's the thing. I think she was saying, don't look at me
like
that.
And she's a politician. She knows how to say something nicely.
Yeah.
On the inside, she's like, ooh.
But again, I do think the writing and the acting plays a part in this because she's saying it makes me uncomfortable.
It's the story.
Yeah, but like uncomfortable as in like, yes, he had creepy eyes, and yeah, 100%. So she could be like, it's making you uncomfortable. Literally, the way you're looking at me makes you uncomfortable. Also, the fact that like you're grown up from what I remember you as a kid, and now you're like, kind of like a man, and like that makes me uncomfortable too. Like, yeah. Okay. I mean, I can't argue with that. Like, but that's how I kind of.
I think you want to make it romantic.
No, I don't. But I don't want it. But how the rest of how she is in the second movie, she is a strong woman. She fights. She escapes from him. She shuts him down time and again when he was like,
no, I don't care. I do not care. Do you know why? Because I said it to you. She is like Star Wars Bernie Sanders, right? Yeah. Super liberal. He kills a whole village of people. Yeah. And also a whole herd of little children. And she knows this. No way is she going to be like, but I love him. No. Something inside her would be like, this guy is a psychopath.
But she doesn't, but I see what you're saying, and I had that in my mind when I was watching the movie. I knew it, but like, there is no moment where she seems to be like shocked at what he did, and then because isn't the whole Jedi thing that they have to do something to make, so he doesn't do anything.
I think there's a lot of nuance with the Jedi. It's not just like, a robot. Like, I think there's a lot of nuance with the Jedi mind tricks.
But you still see it happen. For us, for the audience, you see it happen.
I mean, I think there is more, like, it's like influential, like, you know what I mean?
So you're saying like over time?
No, I don't think it's like I can be like, Nicole, you're going to drink the soda. And you just be like, you know what, I'm not thirsty. Oh, yes. You know what I mean? It's not so, like, 180. Like, I really think it's more like subtle mind control, or I think it's like influential. Like, yeah, but I'm going to influence you to think you like this.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
He is the strongest Jedi in the freaking galaxy. Mm-hmm. So I think, like I said, might not be on purpose, but he just might be throwing out those waves like, I like you. Like, he was obsessed with her.
Right, he was obsessed with her, yeah.
And I think it was
I will say, okay, if that's how we're, like, if it's, like, super subtle and even the audience isn't supposed to know or whatever, I would say that maybe the subtle waves that he doesn't even know she's doing, that she doesn't know that he is doing, like that I could see that I would agree with you on that.
There's no way that this person who is supposed to be so strong would be like, you know what, I'm gonna just give up on all of my beliefs because of this dopey kid. No, I just don't believe it.
Does she give up on her beliefs?
Yes.
She kind of does. Yeah. I feel like she was I don't know the proper word, but neutered would be the word.
Yeah, well, I do think because the third movie.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a different character in the third movie. I was like, what happened to the one? I liked whatever the middle of the second one was, when she shut him down, when she was like, I'm from here, so you're gonna stop talking. Mm-hmm. And then when, like, she was like, well, you were told to protect me and I'm gonna go save Obi-Wan, and so she went off and saved him, and she was fighting. Like, that person, that was not character, the
person in the third movie.
No, like, I was like, what happened to this?
Yes.
So you're saying that she was mind controlled into being this neutered version of herself?
No, I mean, I don't know, but I find it very.
But where I think the writing and the directing and the acting is what did it.
But I mean, like, that's the story, though. Like, you know, like, the writing is. That's the writing, though. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're, I know. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, I think, like, a lot of people want to think, oh, no, free will, blah, blah, blah. But no, that's not the case. Like, I really think, if you're saying that Palpatine is so strong, right, which is the argument, and that he does a lot of things, but Vader is stronger than Palpatine. So if you think of it like that, you know what I mean? And he's not tapped into it. Because doesn't Palpatine say, you're the strongest, but you just don't know? Like, you're not.
Something to that effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, that's what I think. I think he just was like, you're going to be mine. Yeah. And she was like, no. And then it was like, oh, wait.
Yeah. Because I saw it as, like, that part. And then, like, he saved her life. And then they had, like, nice moments together. And then they kind of went back and forth a little bit. I guess my obsession with having it be a nice romance came out, you know. So, because I did see, whereas if the writing and directing was better, and I know the writing is a story and it is what it is, maybe when we got to the point of him saying that he slaughtered a whole village and her saying, but why are you angry? Which was, I paused it at that moment and said, Steve, what is this?
Yeah, this is horrible. You would be like,
but
what?
maybe if but maybe if like there had been, then when she did that, we would have seen it coming. We would have been like, oh yeah, we know that he had done this to her, or like, oh, it would have made more sense. It just was like weird. And I guess you're explaining it by way of him sending out these like being the strongest Jedi and getting what he wanted no matter what. Yeah. Whereas like I just thought it wasn't good.
Mm-hmm. Like
because they didn't set that up. They didn't. So I didn't jump to that conclusion.
Yeah. But, so like Sarah's giving the writers the benefit of the doubt that that's what they wanted.
Yeah, you're like helping the movie along, whereas I'm just like, it's bad, but you're helping it.
Well, no, I'm not helping it. I'm just saying I cannot see how this character would fall in love with that character so much where she would ignore her core beliefs and everything and go and do a 180 of like now to ride or die. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't see it without a little help of the whole Jedi. Woo.
Sure. Yeah. Well, now let's remember too that talking about the 180, I always felt my least favorite part of the third movie was his turn from Anakin to Darth Vader. I felt was way too quick. Yeah. I felt that there wasn't there was no establishing him, moving to the dark side in the second movie.
Right.
And in the third movie...
he did murder in town.
Yeah, but you know what?
I don't know why. Like, he didn't murder.
Yeah, I understand.
That's a big red flag.
That was probably the beginning of it, but it still doesn't mean that he's going to the dark side. I mean, that's just a son.
When he did that,
no, technically,
Yoda
though, that's
go like...
Yeah, but technically, that's a son upset that his mother was
I felt like I completely like I don't think it was enough, like you said, but I got it. Like I saw it. I'm like, it made sense to me. Mm-hmm. Like he was, like we said, he's a brat who's a creep who has like a real trauma in his younger years, right? His mom, he carried her. She was like dead. I found her. Da, 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 da. And like all he ever said that he wanted was to help. It's for people to live or whatever, right? He was very caught up on like people not dying and people living. Yes. So like when Palpatine swooped in and was like, hey, you know what I could do? Or you know what so-and-so could do, blah, 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 blah. Like, you can figure out, where I was going. Like, I saw him being like, okay.
Oh, he was already gone, though.
Yeah.
Can you imagine killing a whole village and you're just, like, having that live in your head? He probably was like, oh, I messed up already, so... I mean, not like that, but...
Yeah, I mean, it starts in the third movie, but I felt, because, like, he takes out Dooku very easily. Yeah. Right? And I understand that, but I still do feel like that the final turn for me was was very anticlimactic compared, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, he gets down, he's like, oh, now rise as Darth Vader. Or you are now Darth Vader. Right, just, yes, Yeah. It was just very quick.
I think I said that too. I'm like, well, he just dove in head first. He was like, okay, yes, master. I was like, what?
Yeah, and it was all...
there's no hesitation. Like, there's just
and at the same time...
But that's his character, though. Like, when he jumped off the ship in the first...
Yeah.
And it was like, what?
And at the same time, he says he's doing it for Padme, but is he? Because I kind of feel like, if he really wanted to do it for Padme, he would have gone to the light side because she was good. Yeah. Right. She was good. I mean,
I think in the beginning he did. I think after like he had that dream of her dying, and we know like his dreams are legit, right? Because his mom jumped with his mom and blah blah blah. And then like I think that even though he's stronger than Palpatine, when they were sitting and watching that like opera, Palpatine did something like there was literally something that like actually let the audience know that like, you know what I mean? I felt like there was a moment where like he kind of like
it was manipulation.
Yeah, but
I don't know if it was actual Jedi, Sith Jedi manipulation, or if it was just the mind that was weak at the point where he was worried about Padme.
Yeah,
and Palpatine saying, I can,
right.
So
I think in that moment, like, I think at that times he was doing it for Padme, who I'm pretty sure he's called her Padme in the beginning. He didn't even say her name right. I was like, oh my God. Can we just like cut and do go back to one? Like, just say her name right? Anyway.
Yeah.
But, so I do think, but then eventually, I think that it was like, I think maybe after he killed the other group of children.
Yes.
Maybe he was like, oh, well.
That was post. Yeah.
Now he's like,
and then so he goes to the fire planet. I forgot what's the name of the fire planet. He goes to the fire planet, and that's where the final duel happens. Yeah, right. and again, I thought this was kind of weak. He like grabs her neck and pushes her down. Definitely not in any way, I don't think, putting her in any harm as far as like her life isn't
he didn't kill her.
jeopardy or anything. Yeah, she you know what she died
I have
of?
a broken heart.
Broken heart.
She said that. She said, "You're breaking my heart."
Yeah.
And then, there's the turn where he, I have the high ground, and then all that kind of stuff. So that for me was an interesting concept. But it was very, like I said before, she was not the same character. And I think she would have been much in that scene, where he gets off the ship.
Yeah.
I think Obi-Wan, like, he was a stowaway, so he kind of just shows up out of nowhere. And that scene, she would have been much more powerful, more forceful if she was that person in the second movie, and she wasn't. And again, Sarah, it might be that her inner being was completely like drained of all free will because he had complete control over her. But it was definitely a creepy situation that took place. And I do see the valid points on both ends, but I'm kind of leaning a little towards Sarah now that I think about it more.
Well, I think that gives it credit. Like you said, I think that actually gives it credit to the movie. Whereas I just think they did a bad job.
Just a bad job of doing it.
Well, yeah, if they come out and say, no, they didn't, then it's just like, well you
then
stink.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I say the movie just is not good. And Sarah thinks that there's a Jedi thing, which
well, I also want to say the movie is still not good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not making excuses. I just think that's the only way I can be like, why would she even entertain the idea of because like I said, you can still like someone, but just because men, just because a girl likes you doesn't mean she wants to be with you. And ladies too, but
So now you'll watch the 3 original movies.
Well, I gotta now.
You have to. And
I'm in it now.
And I think while they are not technologically as advanced as the movies you just saw,
it's still entertaining.
They're very entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think the characters are much better worked out.
Wait, so you think the first 3 is better than the last 3?
I think that the last 2 movies of the whole series are definitely below the rest of the movies, which would put the prequels.
How can you say that? The first movie is the worst.
No.
The guy who played Jar Jar Binks actually contemplated suicide because of, it's sad.
I know.
But about how much people hated that character.
I didn't hate Jar Jar Binks. I just thought it made it like a more juvenile situation.
No, I mean, that's how bad.
Yeah, well, I could see,
well, people are trolls and mean.
For me, the worst movie by far is The Last Jedi.
How can you even say that?
Because I think it took the characters that were well established and well liked and made them into terrible.
Are you talking about?
I'm talking about Luke. I'm talking about Luke, the main character.
He was not happy with the first movie. He was not happy about how they.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's
with the last 3, the most recent 3.
Well, no, The Last Jedi, which is the second of the last 3.
How they wrote his character,
and Rian Johnson was basically trying to quote unquote subvert our expectations and completely took everything that J.J. Abrams kind of set up and just put it in a pile and doused it with gasoline and lit it on fire. J.J. Abrams came back for the 3rd movie to try to fix it, and it was a valiant effort, I will say that. I don't think he did fix it in the end, but as far as the newer movies, I thought Force Awakens, while not perfect, was very promising. I was very excited about The Force Awakens. I thought, okay, it's pretty much the original Star Wars kind of set up for the new generation, and I was fine with it. And I loved the brand new characters. I thought Finn was, and the actor John Boyega is upset about this, and rightfully so, 100,000,000%. That I felt that he should have been the main character of the final movies. He was one of my favorite characters. I loved the actor. I loved how he portrayed that character. I thought it was great. I thought there was come on, he was a stormtrooper, right?
Yeah.
Who turned, right? And he had the potential of being a Jedi. And I do believe eventually they were going to go in that direction, but something else happened. Anyway, There was a lot of promise there, and I didn't dislike Rey in the first movie. I thought she was a very interesting character, and I liked the new characters. I liked Poe Dameron. I liked them all. I did, and I liked the direction that they were going in. I liked how it was kind of passing the baton between the old and the new.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of promise. And then the second movie just took all that and just threw it out. Just threw it out. Right?
That's also a bad script.
I thought Kylo Ren was another brat, but on purpose though. It was like specifically on purpose, and again played very well. Yeah. So they messed everything up in that respect. Looking at that and looking at the new movies and the second and the third of the new movies and comparing them to the old movies, okay, I think there was, even though those the prequels are not so bad. They're bad. I know they're bad. Okay, but probably going to disagree. I felt there was a sincerity behind them. Right?
The first ones?
The first ones, I felt there was a sincerity behind them that, and there was a little bit of heart that was definitely lacking in the last two movies. So that's the reason why I would put Last Jedi as my least favorite movie, and then I would probably put Phantom Menace right above it, and I think I'd put Attack of the Clones above that, and then Revenge of the Sith. And then Rise of Skywalker, and then all the other movies can go above that. My favorite Star Wars movie is Star Wars, but my second favorite is Rogue One. I think if I had to pick,
that's kind of a standalone.
It's a standalone, but if I had to pick a movie that was like what it was supposed to be, a war in space, Star Wars, that's it. That's the one. I mean, there really wasn't a lot of action, space battles, war kind of things happening in the first movie, right? I mean, just the end when they went to go after the Death Star. So that's how I see it. So yes, I agree. The prequels are not my favorite movies. They're not the best Star Wars movies, but I have to put put Last Jedi at the bottom of that list.
But that's still better writing and better acting than the first three. All of them.
Okay, if you want to compare it to writing, perhaps, but I still
saw both movies in the movie theater, correct?
Yes, I can't. No, I did not see The Last Jedi in the movie theater because I heard it was so bad. I watched it once.
Well, you went in thinking it was bad.
I watched it once. And that was it. Okay, there were things in that movie that made me get up and walk outside and yell and scream. And I'm not that type of person in any respect. I was floored by the decisions that were made in that film.
Like what? Give me just one.
This is the second one you're talking about?
Yeah. The Last Jedi. That was not Luke Skywalker.
So basically,
do you know the way you said that wasn't Padme in the third movie?
Yeah.
Turn that up 100 times. That was not Luke Skywalker at all. I'm sorry. Luke Skywalker, the Jedi who went up against the greatest Sith in the universe, Darth Vader, who was his father, granted it was his father, went up against him and basically said, I much rather die than turn to the dark side, right? In the second of the sequels, in Last Jedi, is literally portrayed as wanting to kill his nephew. No, I'm sorry. Real Luke would not have even thought of that. He would have tried his best to do something. He would have sacrificed himself to do something to turn Ben. You know what I'm saying? If he felt like that. And I'm sorry, it wasn't Luke Skywalker. And even Luke, even Mark Hamill started to say it, and Disney was like, "Do you want a job? Do you want you want to be in the third movie?" Yeah. So yeah. So that's, for me, that's basically my big beef with that movie. That's why I have to put it at the very bottom, is because you don't take the main character and you don't rewrite his inner being like that. That being said, the 3 prequels are right above that. So it's not like they're not on the bottom of my list.
Maybe he got Jedi mind tricks. Like his mom.
Perhaps. Perhaps. It's possible. Well, we can keep talking about this.
Yeah.
And that is
Nicole's like,
and that is the reason why we needed to do this in 3 parts. So thank you so much for listening to part 1 of this episode, and we'll have part 2 and 3 coming up. But if you want to listen to older episodes or read our show notes, you can visit our website, mcplpodcast.com. So for Sarah Fade and Nicole Rambo, I'm Sal DiVincenzo. We'll see you on the next show.